He had, first of all, a great mind. He was exceptionally well read, and the history, the stories. I mean, here's this guy who was the founder intellectually of our movement of the conservative Massorti movement was Heschel, and he was Heschel's what do you call it, appointment secretary. He worked with these
One
giants.
thing that Rabbi Silverman, I feel that he was a really gifted sermon creator. You always knew that he prepared very carefully, and he had a beginning and a middle and an end, and he delivered his speeches very well. Now, you at sometimes may or may not have agreed with what he was saying, but it always was interesting.
He was the most amazing person. But he was also a human being. He was a man, and but he was very, very shy. But the warmest brown eyes, the most incredible sense of humor, which I enjoyed.
When he got up to talk at the end of our first son Aaron's bar mitzvah, he also talked quite a bit about our family, the fact that we lived on the street, the fact that we were close to them, we had been for dinner, etc., etc. And the very last thing that he said, and he had that famous finger, and he said, "Marvin, you drive me crazy, but I love you." And my husband was in tears because he did not show his affection very often.
The school is a fantastic place to be part of. It was a wonderful place to work in. It was a friendly, warm, stimulating place. Gloria was the head chief and bottle washer. There was no doubt about it. Every single thing that happened went through her. She knew about her staff. She knew about the students. She knew about problems. She knew about good things.
Gloria looked at us as adults, as young adults. And if you asked a serious, intelligent question, you got a serious and intelligent
She would
answer.
have Shabbat dinners, and they would all prepare for a Shabbat dinner as a class. They would make challah. In my class, for instance, I would have my students as a craft project make challah covers. Somebody else might make centerpieces like flowers or something specifically for the Shabbat dinner. So every year for many years, we had these amazing Shabbat dinners, and the women, the mothers, the parents, and members of Sister who would come in and cook. And they were really wonderful dinners. And at the dinner, Gloria would be in her camp mode, and we would do Zmirot, and she would conduct the songs, and we would all sing, and we would have taught the children the songs, so they would participate. And I think the parents over those years got a feel for
when
Shabbat.
Particularly with anybody was new in the community, she would make the effort of having them over to be part of their family, to be part of the family of Beth Jacob, because the Silvermans were Beth Jacob. And when we got invited on a Friday night, it was a real honor. We were all really pleased to go. And the kids used to get all dressed up and get all excited about it because we were going to be at Rabbi's for dinner. And she made it very warm, very open. Whether or not you were observant, whether or not you knew exactly what was going on, there was no question that you were part of it, and that she never, ever made anybody uncomfortable.
I think what made them unique in many ways was there were two things I think that made them really unique. One was they were both of the highest level of Jewish educators from different perspectives. My father, the very scholarly, the research philosopher, and very erudite, really, and not just in the Jewish world, but also in the secular world, and everything that could offer. And my mom on the experiential level, that she was brilliant at taking virtually any opportunity and turning it into an educational moment, and really even more so into a Jewish educational moment. For a long time, for my father, I think the issue was bridging the gap between the intellectual, philosophical question of inclusion of women in the synagogue to how he was going to make it practical. So in our house, in our house in private, he was slowly but more and more open to women's participation in various rituals, which was not his background and probably wasn't his desire. Having a very strong wife and 4 daughters, and additionally later a daughter-in-law as well, who put a little pressure on. He lived in a house of women, so it was. But I don't think it was hard for him. But it was just a slow process.
I think of Rabbi Silverman as a rock, and a rock has sharp edges, and it has very crisp lines, and it's I think of a piece of rock that's fallen off a cliff, and then I think of a stone that's been smoothed by the streams, and Gloria was the stream that smoothed the edges of Rabbi Silverman.
The lion's share of this remarkable evening of tribute belongs to Gloria. I suppose I may preach a decent sermon on occasion, and it may even be true that I sometimes deliver a eulogy which helps people in an hour of bereavement. But whatever else I may get credit for, I really do not deserve, because it belongs to her.
My tapuach ba'atzei haya'ar, my support, my friend, my love. He is also my rabbi. I, as many of you, have had many opportunities during the past 25 years to be uplifted, enlightened, taught, and challenged by this rabbi, who for all of us is the true model of a rabbi, a rav, a teacher.